Commitment, consecration, discipline can never be sweet. Commitment, consecration, and discipline can never be sweet. It's always contrary circumstances that make you stronger. Please write that down. It's always contrary circumstances that make you stronger. Contrary circumstances. In training men for ministry, train a man in Christ by contrary winds. Train a man in Christ by contrary wind. That's where your convictions are birthed. It is in the midst of opposition that a man's convictions are birthed. When you've not been opposed, you won't know whether you believe something or not. It is when opposition comes that you now decide whether this is what I believe or not. So opposition drives the roots deeper. Opposition drives the root of conviction deeper. Very important. That's where your convictions are obvious. When your expectations are not met, you are still holding on. When things you prayed for have not come, you are still focused. When things you were not expecting happen, you were not expecting to be removed from your work, you are removed. You were not expecting that your landlord should give you a quick notice. At the same time, he gives you a quick notice. And you still maintain your velocity in ministry. That is the proof of conviction. When storms come, trials come, opposition come, instead of distracting you, it drives your root deeper. Sometimes God allows us to be tested to see the level of our conviction. He just allows us. It's part of growth. Yeah, it's part of growth. You say, God, are you still there? I'm going through so much. But I have to preach this evening. Father, give me utterance. Give me unction. That when I stand before the people, I will speak as I ought to speak. At that time, you have suspended you. At that time, you have entered the regalia of a servant. You are not moved. I have no moral right to tell you, in spite of trial, stay in the ministry. If I can go through trial and not stay in the ministry. Sometimes you see us come out brazen like this. You don't know what we're going through too. Every one of us goes through. There's nobody that doesn't go through. There's nobody. You see me smile and I'm happy all the time. I go through things. I go through trials. But I have made up my mind. I will not create a worship center for trials. No, no, no. I will not worship trials. There is only one person I worship, and him only I serve. His name is Jesus, the lover of my soul. When I go through the fire, he's with me in the fire. When I go through the waters, he's with me in the waters. No temptation has taken you, but such as is common to man. And God is faithful. He will not allow you to be tempted above what you can handle. And he will, with the temptation, make a way of escape. Ladies and gentlemen, there will always be a way of escape. Higher. There will always be a way of escape. The devil doesn't have the final say. This is the victory. We have it that overcometh the world, even our faith. Somebody shout, I hear you. Count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, trial and tests, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. Let patience have a perfect way, that you may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. At the end of it all, you come out victorious. Yeah. Please sit down. The devil could prolong the trial. The prolongation of a trial is still a trial of your roots. He could stretch it. You thought it will end tomorrow, and that is when it is really trying. When you are expecting the trial to terminate tomorrow, then it stretches to next tomorrow, then it stretches to next week, then it stretches to another week. Now it gets to where you don't have a timeline. You don't have a timeline. You are just walking by faith and trusting God, not knowing when it will terminate. That is when your stamina for prayer, that is when your resilience for prayer cruise will kick in at that time. Because at that time, what wins the battle is resilience, endurance, tenacity. Everything look like all hell broke loose. You are still in ministry. You are still in ministry. You are still preaching. You are still helping. You are still building the kingdom. Then after a while, Brother Peter said, when you have suffered for a while, after a while, a new phase comes. That phase disappears. Then it's like it never happened. Then it's like nothing really happened. I don't know if I'm talking to somebody here. And then a new phase opens up. You are refreshed. New things begin to happen. Because after Satan tempted Jesus 3 times, Jesus told him, it is written. Second time, it is written. Third time, it is written. Satan now left him for a season. And angels came to minister. At every time you overcome a phase of trial, there is a ministration to refresh your soul. Somebody shout, I hear you. Yeah. You are not alone. Never quit ministry for trial. Even if you are not in ministry, you will be tried. So don't quit ministry for trial. Stay in it. Stay in it. Pray, stay. Take messages. Play them and fire up. Gather brethren. Be in fellowship. When trials come, be in fellowship much more. Much more. That's when you need to be around. Around the fire. Somebody say, I hear you. That's not when to go off. That's not when to take time off. You don't need that off at that time. It's a wrong time to be off. If I'm teaching good, shout, I hear you. Please sit down. Let me push a little more.